Hi, I'm Michael Wan. Thanks for watching us today. Trump is winning big and Democrats has lost their way. That is the subject of today's op-ed. First, I would like to read you what the Washington Times wrote today. Remember when President Trump said we were going to win so much that we are going to get tired of it? That's exactly how it felt this past month. But I'm not tired, far from it. The Supreme Court has been delivering big time on Mr. Trump's promise to restore the rule of law. And the left is showing America its profoundly un-American and uncivil face every single day. On June 4th, the court upheld the right of Christian baker Jack Phillips in Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission not to be forced to help facilitate a same-sex wedding. The Christian grandmother had been convicted under a state law for not servicing a gay wedding. The Supreme Court vacated the ruling and ordered the Washington Supreme Court to re-examine it in light of Masterpiece. In both cases, it was the expressive nature of the event at issue, not the customers whom both vendors had served routinely and regarded as friends. The media utterly ignored that crucial distinction. Like I told you, the biggest problem right now in the United States is the mainstream media. And on June 11th, in Husted versus A. Philip Randolph Institute, Justice Samuel Alito's majority 5-4 opinion said that Ohio's process to remove voters using change of residence grounds didn't violate the National Voter Registration Act. That was a major blow to progressives who are working to weaken electoral safeguards. And on June 26, in Trump versus Hawaii, Chief Justice John Roberts smacked federal judges who had decided that they, not the president, were in charge of determining who could enter the United States. In upholding the travel ban on terror-prone nations, the court's 5-4 ruling restored rightful executive authority. Thank God. Also, on June 26, in National Institute of Family and Life Advocates versus Becerra, in a 5-4 ruling written by Clarence Thomas, the court struck down a California law requiring crisis pregnancy centers to advertise abortion services for violating the First Amendment. It should have been unanimous. Think of Alcohol Anonymous being forced to post directions to the nearest bar or liquor store. Still, it was a huge pro-life win for free speech. On June 27th, in Janus versus American Federation, in a 5-4 majority opinion by Justice Alito, the court ruled that public employees couldn't be forced to pay dues to unions that they didn't want to join. This is a major blow, another major blow to the left, which has extracted hundreds of millions of dollars from unwilling participants. Finally, swing vote Justice Anthony Kennedy announced his retirement, much to Democrats' dismay, paving the way for another conservative in the mold of Neil Gorsuch. Justice Kennedy voted to uphold Roe v. Wade in 1992 in Planned Parenthood versus Casey and wrote all 4 major LGBT rulings up to and including the Obergefell opinion in 2015 that imposed same-sex marriage on all 50 states, which in a sense, he was a liberal on those front. The Washington Times continues, these and other developments may turn the allegedly inevitable blue wave into a red tide. The liberal media's relentless, over-the-top propaganda blaming Mr. Trump for the separation of children from their illegal immigrant parents at the border, which began under President Obama, makes it appear that illegal immigrants are the only people worth covering. If you watch the news, you might have felt that way. If you watch the news or read the papers, they only show illegal immigrants are the people who we should always care about. Why not the citizens? Why not the legal status people? Nobody, according to the media, nobody else in America matters. Your heart can go out to these families without buying the Democrats' radical open border solutions. Left-wing media panic over Supreme Court turning right as some link Trump to newspaper shooting, which is crazy. Mr. Trump has nothing to do with that. Mr. Trump has nothing to do with it. So the whole thing, if you look at what's going on in the Supreme Court or even in the elections that has been happening ever since 2016, or probably even before that, ever since 2010, Republicans have been winning in a major way. Like I told you already in the previous episodes, the Democrats lost more than 1,200 seats ever since Obama became president back in 2009. That is a major blow to the Democrats already. And this is from Fox News. Media furor was aroused last week by 4 major Supreme Court cases that went against the left, and by a Supreme Court retirement that will enable President Trump to appoint a solidly conservative justice to the High Court. That was followed by a horrific mass shooting at a Maryland newspaper that some journalists tried to link to criticism the president has leveled at the media. The Supreme Court dominated much of the week. Each successive ruling seemed to infuriate journalists and liberals more. Why the journalists? Because they are all left-wing hacks at this point. But Justice Anthony Kennedy's announcement of his retirement was the last straw. ABC's Good Morning America correspondent Terry Moran set the ominous tone, saying that Kennedy's retirement guarantees that this court and this country is going to change profoundly. You think? Others called the nomination of a new justice an earthquake or an incident that would evolve into a months-long bare-knuckle fight over this nominee. CNN's legal team acted as if the Constitution itself was at risk because the High Court is now expected to move farther right. Topics like abortion and religious freedom dominated the coverage. Well, if you look at Fox News today, it says Trump should nominate Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court to save his presidency. And you know what? Already, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has been attacking her on his tweets. So that is a good sign for the conservatives and independents, I would say. And Donald Trump, he is winning. Whether you like it or not, he is winning in a big way. He won in deregulation. He won America by pulling out from TPP. And he won with regarding the Iran deal and also with the North Korean issue, right? And also, if you look at the unemployment rate, it's all the way down to 3.8%. And 14 states, I repeat, 14 states has had a record low unemployment rate. Isn't that an amazing thing? If this happened under Obama's administration, the press would have been cheering them all day, cheering Obama all day long. Not all day long, I would say all year long. So if you look at the media, try to not just watch CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, New York Times, and Washington Post. Why don't you try Washington Times, Fox News, and Breitbart, some other media outlet? There are many alternative media outlets that is presenting the truth, not fake news like what the mainstream media is spreading a lot these days. Well, that's our show for today. Our show, Op-Ed Live, is not about left or right. It's about what's right or wrong. To stay up to date with our latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.